You're listening to the 702 Gaming Podcast, episode number 20.
20 in. That's important for us.
Yeah, we made it.
Yeah, like everyone works. So
I know. Yeah,
uh
so it's hard.
yeah, this is super important. So thank you everyone who has stuck with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, if you're new, I'm Jacob and we are with Jason. Josh is usually with us when he can. He
Yeah.
works a lot, so
Yep.
he wasn't able to make it. But we'll get him on here.
We'll get them
We'll get
on.
him back.
We'll get you.
Yeah, get our grasp on you.
Hmm.
Let's just talk a little bit about some games that have come out recently that by the time this episode comes out, they'll have been out for a couple weeks or a week or so, but
Right.
still worth talking about. What have you been playing?
So, a couple things. Of course, I always jump back into my retro stuff. Probably the thing I've been playing the most that I've been having the most fun with is the Punisher arcade game. Like,
I saw you post a picture of that on your
yeah,
arcade
it's
cabinet
so
on
good,
Twitter,
man.
right?
Yeah, it's
I
so
forgot
so
about
good.
that game, and when you posted that picture, it brought it all back. That
Those
was so
memories,
cool.
right? Those
That
memories.
was a good one.
Such a good game. There's hidden stuff like moves in there where, if you do like a fireball motion, the down to half circle forward with your punch, you'll do like a special kick, like hidden things like that where you're like, oh, I didn't know it had stuff like that. Like dash forward and attack, and he does like a shadow kick. Looks like, Liu Kang, or not Liu Kang, Johnny Cage's kick from Mortal Kombat. It's like, oh man, so much cool stuff in there. Um, I remember that one because I played it first in the arcade just briefly and was like, wow, I love those type of final fight, beat 'em up games. Who'd have knew? I like to fight. Um, but I played it more so when I had Sega Channel because Sega was the only home system that ported it over. And it's probably because, if you're a comic guy like myself and the Punisher, he's about the guns. There's a lot of gunplay, a lot of pulling straps out. And yeah, Nintendo was nah, they weren't with that back in the day.
And that's what
They
I
were the
remember about the game. You pick up like pistols or
hmm
like AR-15 type guns and
yeah,
stuff like that, right?
yep. And he was able to pick up guys and body slam them, all the stuff that I like doing in real life. I'm like, I can do it here, but
And not go
yeah,
to jail.
yeah, not go to yeah, now, yeah, not go to jail.
Okay.
um, so yeah, I've been playing that, really, really enjoying that. Again, as a side-scrolling beat 'em up guy, your Double Dragons, your Final Fights, your Streets of Rages, like I love those type of games. So I've been playing that a lot. But
Well, let me ask you, who's the second player on that?
Nick
Is
Fury,
it is Nick Fury.
yeah,
Okay, because I saw your picture and I was like, I always remembered I liked playing the other guy because he
yeah,
had the eye patch
yep,
and the cigar.
yep.
But Nick Fury's been, Samuel L. Jackson for so long now. I forgot what the original looked like.
Yeah, the original is he's a Caucasian male with I think he's got like gray streaks like in the
Yeah,
sides of his
on the
head,
side here. Yeah.
and he's kind of it's like almost like a father figure, to a lot of the Marvel nutbags in the comics. Like not a lot of people think he's a cool guy. If you think Nick, if you're a character and you think Fury's cool, you got to question that guy's like moral compass type of thing. So yeah, that's the second player. But
Okay.
it's a great game. I played some of the Metroid Dread. Eh,
How you feeling on it?
you know, so I've said this before about Metroid. Like I like Metroid. I love the character. I think Samus is awesome. I've said this on a previous podcast. Go look it up. I love the fact that she she's a she before we knew she was, and is a very powerful character and all these. Like I love the character. The games can feel empty at times. I think because of the exploration that you have to do. I feel like this one is very hollow to me. Like
Hmm.
I'm not a fan. Like I thought I would be. I'm not necessarily a fan of the way the graphics look. Um, Kind of feels like a lot of the remakes that are being done right now. Um, there's an ActRaiser remake that just came out recently. I tried. I tried to enjoy it. I didn't at all. It also feels really like hollow. Like there's no, I don't know. Dread to me, this ActRaiser remake to me feels like, why does this exist? That's what it
Really?
feels like to me. Yeah.
So is it the 2D it's a 2D platformer, right?
Yeah, it's a 2D
2D
platform.
platform. So is it that that is just such an old scheme that it's just kind of you're
No,
over it, or is it the game itself, you think?
no. For me, as the gamer that I am and how I grew up, I'm fine with whatever. You know, if it's side scrolling, like I'm all about that. Right?
Okay.
Like a lot of the games that I play that I thoroughly enjoy are side scrollers. So I'm not one of those guys where, you know, when the PlayStation, the Nintendo 64, the Saturn, when those systems came out, everyone was like, man, 3D is the future. It was rough back then. So a lot of those systems, had they done 2D games, and, you know, some of them did a couple, if you look at those games, play those games as opposed to the third person type of games that they did, you're like, these are great. This is not. So,
Gotcha.
you know, it definitely has nothing to do with that. It's not that the graphical scheme or the play style is archaic or anything. It's just the game is like, uh, I, to me, I played it a couple hours, in fact, and I'm like, I don't care about what's happening here. That was, and I know any gamer has experienced that, where after a while you're like, I don't care. So I feel like I'm just
Why am I
powering
here?
through. Yeah, like,
Yeah. Like I
and
spent the money, I'm just gonna beat it, but
right, and it was
I know
50
I'm not gonna have
bucks,
fun. Yeah.
$59 for this, and I'm
Oof.
like,
Yeah.
I'll finish it later, I guess, but I don't care anything about that game at all. And I was pretty amped for it. To be honest, I'm
Were
having
you
more
playing it
fun.
on the handheld or were you playing it connected to the
I did
TV?
both. I did
Both, yeah.
both. And, you know, I know I've said this before, like I hate the controls on the Switch. They're
Hmm.
horrible to me. And I'm not even having the drift issue that people are suing Nintendo for, you know, still. Um, when I play it on my televisions, you know, I use my PS3 controller. So I have no problem, you know, with either of them, even though I don't like one over the other. It's just the game is not fun.
Mm.
Like to me, it's not fun. I'm not having fun playing it. I'm having more
See,
fun playing the
I've been hearing a
the one
lot of
on
good
Game
things
Boy.
about it. Yeah, you've been playing the old one on Game Boy, right?
Yeah, that one
And
is I'm having
actually
more fun.
enjoying it.
Hmm.
That's
I mean, the
crazy.
only issue on the Game Boy one is like a lot of those games have this issue. It's just a limitation of the system where you feel like the character is too big,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, you
Like,
can't see far enough ahead or
right. So
around you. You're kind of
you're kind
blind.
of like, as you're
Yeah.
walking forward, you're like, all right, I only got a little bit of power. I'm dead. I didn't know it was there. I could
Yeah.
have avoided
Yeah.
it, but
Yep.
but
And
yeah,
you're playing like that's like a 2-inch screen or something.
yeah, it's like
It's
2.7
tiny.
inch or something like that. It might even be
Yeah.
three, but yeah,
Yeah.
your character feels like this, and then the
And it's
screen is
square, I
like,
think, too, right?
like that. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
cool. As a past video guy, a 4:3 aspect
Yeah.
ratio,
Yeah.
I can deal
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
And again, if it's fun, I
Yeah.
can care less what I'm playing it on.
That's
This new
crazy.
one
I
is
didn't.
not fun to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of people just saying how much they love it and stuff. I know that I
Mhm.
wouldn't love it because I don't mind a 2D platformer. They're usually pretty difficult, so I don't always finish them. But there
Mhm.
are some good 2D platformers that are new out there that I do like. But I don't like. Is that the is that where Metroidvania comes in, where it's
Yeah.
not just get from the left side of the screen to the right or up
Mhm.
to this point. It's like you can explore the whole map, right? In 2D,
Yeah. So
kind of open map world type thing.
the
I don't
exploring
like
part
that
of it,
usually.
like I'm not a big fan, of exploration games. So, you can kind of take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Um, but there are certain games that have a lot of exploration in them. Like, I don't know, Metal Gear Solid on PS1, like
Hmm. Hmm.
that it's fairly open, for the most part, and you got to figure out how to get to certain areas and things like that. Love that game. Now, yes,
Hmm.
these are different games, but just saying, certain game, it's not about necessarily the exploration that makes this not fun. It's just not fun to me, and I might be. I might be the anomaly here, but it's not fun. It's not fun. I think I bought it based on nostalgia
Yeah.
more than that's a game I probably should have waited for a couple reviews and then kind of tallied the reviews up. You know, I'm not a guy that watches someone play through a game and then go, oh, I know I want to play it now. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, it's not, I don't know, you know, and considering, you know, in the last pod that we did, I have now purchased Resident Evil 4 for my Oculus. This is probably my fifth purchase of Resident Evil 4, like for different systems, you
Yeah.
know.
It's one of
So,
those ones. Yeah.
right. So I've purchased it, you know,
Yeah.
numerous times and I love it, you know. So I looked through those nostalgia glasses with this Metroid and it didn't work out for me this time.
I got you.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Unfortunately. Actually, I know I didn't bring up this game earlier, but you just got me thinking on, repurchasing games or playing through a game. So if you bought Resident Evil 4, what, 3, 4 times, that means that you played it 3, 4 times at least,
I
probably
beat
more.
it every time. Yeah.
Yeah. And so same for me, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, I finally went ahead and bought it. I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast yet or not.
I don't think
But
so.
this is my fourth playthrough total through all three. And because if you haven't played it, part one, everything you do carries over to part two, and then everything carries over to part three, where it all kind of culminates to where, if your best bud dies in one or two, he's not in part three.
That's
Uh,
awesome, man. I love
yeah,
that.
you have like a romance with this character in one, they're gonna remember in three and two, and they're gonna either hold it against you or still like you, and it's cool.
I
Or
didn't know that.
this, yeah, or this
This is the first
person
time I've
might
heard
not
that.
like you because you hooked up with this person, and so in part three they don't like you anymore because you chose them over them.
Wow.
It's got a really deep choice system with it that makes it very replayable. And this legendary edition, just like, it's so good, man. It's
Well, let me ask you something real quick. So, since these were all separate games at one point, now, you know, if you're getting a downloadable version of this, I
yeah,
can understand the stories being so cohesive like that, right?
yeah.
But thinking of purchasing disc back in the day. So if
Mhm.
you only purchased part two, you never played part one. I wonder how part two would play.
Yeah, so this is what it does. So the major choices, if you start at part two or part three,
Mhm.
before you start and you're creating your character, because you can either use the female or the male shepherd,
Mhm.
or you can create your own. Um, and then you kind of create like a background uh, for them, like how they grew up,
Okay.
what did they do in the war, kind of thing. So it kind of goes along with that. So you choose all that, and then it would ask you, hey, what choices did you make in the previous, or what would you have made if you played it? And it'll ask you some major
Hmm.
decisions
Okay.
that are required to play the game. Because
Okay.
a lot of the decisions you make, you don't have to make. So some of them you could totally skip over. And so it won't ask you those questions, but they do bleed into the other games.
That's awesome,
Um,
man.
yeah, I
That's
mean, that
awesome. I
part
like
of
that.
it, it's the only game that I've ever played that really did it like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, so I'm on part three
Okay.
for the fourth time, and
Fourth
I
time.
love it. Dude, I love it so much. It's
That's
like,
a real
please just go
gamer
out and
right
buy
there.
it, man.
Like
Like,
that's a real gamer right there,
yeah,
and I love that. Like there's certain disc that things have happened to, you know, that I purchased and then just repurchased them. And I
yeah,
bought Left 4 Dead I don't know how many times until I was like, I'll just get the digital. You know,
yeah.
like I don't want to keep buying the game. So I think that's
We'll
cool,
just
man.
keep it forever. Yeah, it's really cool. And um, every time I've played through it, this isn't like I'm running through these games. I complete every single side quest.
Whew,
Because you can explore every planet in the
the
galaxy,
completionist.
not in real life, but yeah, the completionist.
Yeah.
But I go and I visit every single planet, and I shoot a probe onto at least one probe onto every planet, or I
Mm.
land on every planet you're able to land on, and I drive around and do all the missions on it. So I fully complete these. So
Now this probe
that
is
one I'm
not
loving.
like the probe from the last podcast that we were talking about with Fire in the Sky, right? That's not the type
No,
of probe you're using.
with no, no, no.
That's
This
good to
one
know.
it leaves your throat nice and good.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Any, I'd like all of my orifices. I would like for them to be fine. So
yeah. All of them are
yeah,
good
keep your
after Mass
probe
Effect.
to yourself. That's what
Yeah,
I really just wanted to tell you that. Keep
yeah.
your probes
Thank
to
you.
yourself. Yeah. Now that's I've never heard of a game system like that before where it carries over like that. The only thing I can think of that was, I mean, similar to that, and it's not, but like the Nemesis system that they have in
Yes.
that Lord of the Rings game, Shadows
Yes.
of Mordor. Like
That is cool.
yeah, I think that is so cool. That's what this kind of reminds me of, but this is even on a greater scale because this is a series of games where all of those decisions matter. I think that's great.
Yeah, and it's kind of random. Like most of my playthroughs, I made sure all of my team survived every
Mm,
game. They did not die. I think the very first time I played it, I didn't know what I was doing. I
mm,
got a couple folks killed. But in this last one, I hadn't played it in so long, and I did everything right, man. Like I did
nice.
everything right, and I still lost people. And it like this
It's
game
real life,
hurts
bro.
you when you see it.
Mm.
Like no, um, like if you know the guy Morden, like homie died in our last battle, and I didn't even know how. The camera just panned over, and homie's just laying on the ground like
What
a
a
dead frog.
leader you are.
So he's not in part three. He has a great like campaign story in part three. I don't know what it's gonna do. I don't
Oh,
know if
that's
he's just
awesome.
cut out of the game and or what,
And
but
this is the
we'll
first
find
time that
out.
you've lost him
Yeah, I've
through
never
any.
had him die before.
See, that is cool. Like honestly, I've never played actually any of the Mass Effect games, but like something like that makes me want to play it because it's no
Yeah.
longer just like it's a third person shooter, right?
Yeah. Kind of
So,
plays like a clunky Gears of War.
hmm,
With like abilities. You could pick people up in the air, slam them. You control your teammates too. You always have two teammates with you, and
you
they each
have to
have different.
control them.
No, they can do it on their own, but
Okay.
you can. The first game's a little different. In combat, when you do the moves, it like pauses the game kind of,
Hmm.
and then you select what you want to do, and then they all kind of shoot their moves off while you're shooting. Part one's combat isn't the best, but
Hmm.
it's definitely worth playing through part one because the storyline is just so good.
That sounds
But
cool.
like halfway through, I'm like, man, why am I playing this for a fourth time? It's got kind of clunky controls and stuff, but then by the end, I was just like, I forgot how good this story was. And
That's
then you
cool.
get to part two, and it brings the beginning of part two. You don't want to skip part one, in my opinion, because the beginning of part two hits you harder if you played part one. If you just start on
Okay.
part two, you aren't going to care.
Hmm.
So
But it's funny, like you said, like playing part one and then like the clunkiness of the controls. As a Resident Evil guy, when they did the remakes of those, um, like I got to get part one. I got to get the remake of part one to see
uh-huh.
like the coat of paint that they put on it. And I prefer the clunkiness of those controls over the smooth analog movement of the newer ones, that are third person. Um, it is kind of weird to go back to it, but it's kind of like that.
But it was part of it.
Yeah,
It was part of the whole.
it's what makes it what
Yeah,
it is. So
yeah.
like I've never gone back and I don't know, played Double Dragon, and be like, gosh, man, if he just had a gun, I never did that. Like, no, it's
Yeah,
all about your fists. So like I'm all about that. I'm all about that.
yeah. Well, if you get a chance, play that Mass Effect Legendary
Dude,
Edition. I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure those games take
probably.
forever to
I
complete.
mean, man, it's up there with. It might be better than BioShock trilogy.
I knew you were gonna say that. You're like
Better
the
than
BioShock guy.
yeah, and I think this is better than Dead Space trilogy. I mean, and these are games that I love.
Well,
Yeah,
part part three kind of rubbed a lot of
yeah.
people the wrong way.
The ending of that game,
uh,
man. What were they thinking?
I'm definitely excited for that remake.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully,
that's when
yes.
we're gonna be buying
Hopefully
that
that
one.
doesn't Metroid me.
Yeah,
So,
I don't
completely
think
different
that one
game.
will.
Yeah,
I have a
completely
good
different
feeling
game.
about that one. Yeah,
I do too. And, they're not going to shoehorn in the co-op. And I'm a co-op guy. Like
yeah,
if you're playing a good game with co-op, you're like, this is what it's about.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So in part two, it's like this is fun. It's a fun game. Part three, I feel like they lost. I'm not sure if it was actually the same production company.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was either. It might have
Something was
switched over.
something was so off about that one. I mean, it's still a fun game, but it wasn't Dead
Definitely.
Space.
Yeah, if part 1 and 2 hadn't come out before that one, you would have thought it was a great
Exactly,
game. Yeah,
exactly.
that's how I
That's
felt
a good way
about
of
it.
putting that too. And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, I
still
would have
had
loved
a
that.
great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and luckily Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, 1 is the first one, so you kind of forgive it for its clunkiness and stuff, but it
Mhm.
honestly has probably of the games one of the coolest like layouts and pacing of like explaining the story to you.
Mhm.
It just does a really cool job. You feel like it's a book or something that you're going through. It's really neat. And
Nice.
then you get to part 2, and part 2 just opens up this whole new storylines that are just like, wow,
Nice.
it's just really cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
You
love
know,
it.
that kind of reminds me of like with the original God of War.
Hmm.
And then when you played part two, you're like, oh man, like this is a legitimate part two, right?
Yeah.
Like the abilities, graphically, like the story, like any God of War fans, you love the story of Kratos. So you're like, man, I want to see this through. Once you get to part three, it is again the graphical upgrades that they were somehow able to do on the same system is just like this was unlockable the whole time. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
You
what is
just now
going
figured
on?
this out?
Exactly. Oh, so you just had to add like one or two more ones and O's, and we could have had this. Such a
Yeah.
great, such a great the original trilogy there. Love them. And of course, I've talked about God of War 2018. So hey, you're gonna be able to play that soon too. It's coming to
No.
PC.
PC. I'm gonna have
So
to jump on it. If I can't find a PS5, I'll have to jump on that.
yeah, I'm gonna get
Yeah,
it
because I want to
anyway.
play through those. Yeah,
Again, just so I
and
can
get ready
see.
for Ragnarok.
Yeah, man. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna. I don't want to spoil anything. So make it a point not to look up anything at all. Just
Okay. All
take
right.
take your boy's word for it. Buy it day one.
I
Play it
believe you.
all the way through.
Okay.
So what I was just saying about co-op kind of goes right into the other game I've been playing, which is Aliens.
Oh,
Um,
that's right.
so
Fire team.
Fire Team. So it's been out for a couple months now, and
Hmm.
it's had some ups and downs, I would say.
Okay.
I know the player base has fallen off a lot, which it doesn't affect me. I don't care about stuff like that. I don't care if anyone's playing it. Like I'm playing it and having fun.
Yeah.
Um, but I know why a lot of the player base has fallen off. So they've got some things they need to work on. The net code. Whew, wow. It's literally to the point where if we're running three of us and one of our crew members brings a flamethrower and he wants to bring his flame turret, the game will crash.
Hmm.
It's
Too
like
many flames.
too many. It's that. Like the more flame you have on screen will crash the game and boot everyone out. If we run that exact same thing again and don't use any flame and it's just fine. Like
Uh,
those type of things. Ooh, that yeah, it makes me this guy right here. Put this right in your eat box. Okay. That's what that's what it ooh, because
yeah, that's something that they should have caught,
you would
obviously, in
think,
in a beta or something.
I try to give I give production houses that aren't huge, they don't have all the resources. I give them a lot of leeway for a couple things. So I get it. You want to, oh, hey, we didn't know it was going to do that, guys. That was a bug that, no one saw. Sorry. Well, here's a patch, right? Their patches are few and far in between. Yes, they did introduce another character class. That's great. Thank you for that. We appreciate that. Oh, you introduced another one. Cool. At the point that they introduced them, though, people aren't even playing them really because,
Yeah.
it's kind of what it is. But we're this close. Like literally last night, my crew were only playing it on intense, so it's been taking a while. Like one level can take you an hour and 30 minutes, like easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oof.
Um, so playing it on intense, it's been a grind, and trying to get everyone together. You know how that is. So last night, finally, last level, let's go. Get in there and it crashes because the flames. So we run it back without that. We're like, we really need the flame though, right? Like we're at the point where it's like let your specialized weapons do the majority of the work that they can before they're destroyed because ammo is few and far in
Mm,
between. Like,
yeah.
so we finally get in there, we're grinding, and we make it all the way to what appears to be the end. And spoilers for anyone, so you can skip this whole part if you need to.
Yeah, hit that
Um,
30-second forward
there you
a
go.
couple times.
So it's like a circular platform that you got to fight on, and there's a switch. We hit the switch, and it's like, okay, we're going now, right? And you got the countdown, and it
It's
counts
the
all the
last
way.
level.
It's the last level, so it counts all the way down. And we're like, all right, what do we do? Are we escaping? And the voice comes over. Oh, there's another one. Okay, we click that one. Countdown again. We're grinding here, all right? Like
Just waves.
waves, and not just the drone aliens, like the big predatories that they look like a dog, and the whole head is like armored, so we're dodging out of the way, and countdown goes down. Oh, there's another one. Like, okay, we hit that one, and the countdown is a lot longer now, and we're like, just survive it. We can do it. We can do it.
Yeah.
And finally, we see the queen, and I'm like, this
There's
is
a queen.
amazing. Yes, there's a queen. So, and she's huge, and we're shooting her from the platform, and I'm noticing nothing's happening. And of course, more aliens are coming. We're again just trying to survive here. And there is a countdown going on. I'm like, well, she's not dying. I don't even see any damage or anything. Finally, I'm like, we need to get out of here. So I run at her and then hit a right. I'm like, guys, this way. So we're booking, and I'm turning around trying to shoot, and I'm like, well, don't shoot me because we're on intense. So if we shoot each other, you're down, and then it's it. All right. So
Yeah.
trying to run while you're being swarmed, while trying to shoot aliens, and there's face huggers now, trying to shoot these off of
Oh
each
my
other
gosh.
without killing each other. And the countdown is at 30 seconds, and it's a maze to try to get out of there. We're running, and then it's at 15 seconds. I'm like, what's happening? Finally hit this door, and there's the elevator, and I'm like, let's go. And I run in, and I got like 8 seconds, and I like barrel roll in, and I turn around, and 5-star gamer, this guy's playing with us. My boy's running. I'm like, he dives in. We got like 3 seconds, and zero tolerance. The other guy is he's coming in, he's bringing up the rear, and we're like, we're shooting, and timer's at 1. And he goes to dive in, and I'm like, we did it. Everyone's like yelling, throw our hands up, and it just failed. Like, are you kidding me? Right now?
Door shut in his face or something?
It was like right here. I think he like hit his forehead on it or something. Like, are you kidding me right now? I'm sure I woke everyone
Oh.
up in the house. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh.
yeah, man. I mean,
I'm
that
so you have to the whole team has to survive.
whole team has to survive.
You can't be like
Yeah, no. And on some of
the
the other
only still
levels,
survivor.
actually all the other levels, if just one of us made it, then you made it. Not on the
Ah,
last, which, that's fine, I guess. We didn't know. But
okay.
man, that level, running through it like that, it was about an hour and 20 minutes. The
And it
waves. Oh,
ended like that
yeah. I'm telling you, he was,
with a
like,
forehead hit.
yeah.
Yeah.
You remember in Star Wars, the one stormtrooper who hit his head, like
Yeah.
that's what he did, right? He was boom, like that. Like, what's going on?
Fail.
So yeah, that's been the grindathon,
Oh
because
man.
it definitely hasn't been Metroid, so we've been playing that a lot.
Okay, you've been on
So
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Right on.
yeah, it is fun when it works.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's
Because I still want to get it, but I'm gonna wait till it's like on a real cheap sale or something.
I would definitely
I
wait, and
think.
if you don't have a
Yeah.
crew to play
Because
with, then
there's no crossplay. I was gonna jump on there with you guys. There's no crossplay, so that's my main thing.
and this is what I
Yeah.
mean, like those production houses, like the smaller guys.
Yeah.
It's a lot more money to do certain things. So,
Right.
that part,
Understandable.
I understand it. The fact that I can't use more than one flame, don't understand it.
Yeah, that part's weird.
Not cool with that. So,
Well, there's a few other games that I've been playing, but I'll save it for a future episode. Dive deeper into them. But
mhm.
Back for Blood,
Yeah,
been
yeah.
playing that. I'm actually on the last episode or whatever chapter with my buddy on that game,
Don't bump your head.
and it gets quite difficult at the
Mm,
end.
nice.
So we're kind of stuck on that one, but we'll get through it.
What do you think
So Back for
graphically?
Blood,
Because I think
it's
it looks good. There's a lot of
it actually
complaints
looks
about
good.
that.
It actually looks good.
I think it looks great.
Um, I know that we had on a past podcast talked about playing on the beta, that we
Hmm.
played the beta, and I wasn't super thrilled with it. But now that it's out, I've actually had more fun than I thought I was going to have with it.
Good,
So I don't want to bash on it.
good.
It does have crossplay and stuff, so we could probably play it one day.
Hmm.
I think the graphics are good. All the bugs I haven't ran into any bugs in this final version, so that's good.
Okay.
I've had
Nice.
fun, but I do have a problem with like sort of the difficulty spikes, and I do have a problem with the card system that they use.
Mm.
But I'll talk about that later. But it's good. I don't see
Okay.
myself putting 1,000 hours into it, but
Yeah, I don't want
I
to.
want to get through it because it does have some cool moments,
Okay.
some very cool moments.
I like it.
Um, Forza Horizon 5 came out, and that one's just I'm a car guy,
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
so
This
that
is your
one,
wheelhouse, right?
yeah, literally. So that one already, if you like any kind of like open world arcade-ish car game, because this one hits an arcade tone, but it does a little bit of simulation. It's not
Mm.
hardcore racer, it's more arcade-ish than that. You got to try it out. The graphics might be the best I've seen on the Series X so far. It might be this game.
Wow.
They're just gorgeous. Like
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
they're beautiful.
I thought previously you said that it was the last Gear of War or Gears of War
Yeah,
that was the best looking
yeah.
game.
Gears of War Hive Busters, I felt like was the best.
Mm.
And I still think that one's gorgeous, but I don't know. This Horizon's crazy.
Really?
And then when you go into photo mode,
Mm.
it's obviously pausing the game and stuff, so it doesn't have to think about as much, but it does extra like quality in the pictures. But you're
Uh-huh.
moving the camera around, you can focus and do like filters and things. I spend so much time in that photo mode, and I
I've
just,
seen your photos.
yeah,
And
I
I'm
just
like,
dump them all onto
yeah,
Twitter.
I'm like, this is
So
beautiful. This guy's a
it's
photog.
crazy, crazy
Nice.
nice game, and it's just fun. Like it's just really fun.
See,
Uh, it goes from everything from supercars to monster trucks to dune
monster
buggies
trucks.
to yeah, it's
I've
got them all.
never actually played one.
Okay.
Okay, and it's because I've always kind of been told, I guess, from reviews and players that it's very sim-like, and I'm not, unless I'm playing The Sims, like I'm not really into, sim type of
Okay.
games.
Well, so Forza originally was a sim game like a Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Um, but those are Forza Motorsport. So the Forza Horizon is their arcade version. And it's
Oh,
an open world racing game where you go to different points and then you race open world. So you
okay.
go off-roading, you do all kinds of stuff.
Hmm.
Forza Motorsport is a closed track simulation where if you don't hit those brakes right
Yeah.
at the right moment, you're
Mm,
going into the wall and your
yeah.
race is
That's what,
like
yeah, I don't, because I
I
don't
prefer that one. I love it. I mean, you really have to be on point. I love it.
know.
Um, but Horizons are fun, and I like the a little bit silliness of them and stuff.
Yeah.
But Forza Horizon 5 is by far the best Horizon game. So if you're gonna
Okay.
play a racing game, I would suggest that one because in my opinion, it's the best one.
Okay.
Yeah,
That is a glowing review
yeah.
of the, are you sponsored?
Not yet.
You spawn something's up. I don't know what it
I'm
is.
working
So
on that.
yeah, where's that
Yeah,
Game
I
Pass
mean, even
sponsor?
my wife has been addicted to it. She loves it. She
Really?
drives her Ford Bronco all over town.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, since that is it's a co-op game, or I mean multiplayer.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So if you had two systems, you guys could like race the town to get that
And
would
we
be
do. We
that's
do have
awesome,
two.
man. That's
So we
awesome.
haven't done that yet, but yeah, we could. And
Nice.
as you're driving around, you'll randomly see other players driving around as well. So it's open world like
That's
that. It's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah.
I always thought like I know a couple couples that both, the husband and the wife are gamers.
Hmm.
Actually, 5-star gamer. One of our guys who's been watching for a long time. And thank you very much. He and his wife are gamers. She
Oh,
actually helped us. She had to help us beat the Division 2, the expansion they did, where it's basically Nakatomi Plaza from Die Hard. You got to start at level
yeah.
1 all the way to the top.
Go all the way up.
It
Yep.
was it was just it was impossible with three of us, and she was she was clowning us the whole time, like I gotta help you losers, and I mean we
Great.
grinded it out together. So I think that's really cool. You guys can
That's awesome.
experience that hobby together.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that.
I like it too. It's
I like
cool.
that.
The last game just was surprised, like with a surprise announcement at Xbox's 20th anniversary video that they showed.
Mhm.
They surprised everyone and did the Halo Infinite multiplayer
Oh,
Not
yeah,
the
yeah.
campaign. The campaigns comes out November 8th, but the
A couple
multiplayer
days
popped up.
ago,
It's
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've been playing that, having a
Nice.
good time on it. It's kind of more old school Halo than new,
Hmm.
in a good way. Graphics are, I think I talked about this before. Graphics didn't wow me on the trailers and stuff.
Hmm.
Graphics still don't wow me in the game, but they're definitely decent. I would
Okay.
compare them to like Back for Blood. Like it's
Oh,
good
Back for Blood looks
graphics.
good. Yeah, it's a good looking
Yeah,
game.
yeah. It's not gonna like, wow, this is next gen, but
Hmm.
it's good. And it definitely, the gameplay is there, so that's the main part. It is really fun.
Are there
Um,
new levels?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's cool. And
Yeah,
are
all
there
new
old
levels.
levels
There's
that
10
they've?
maps. 10 maps came out. They
That's
haven't
a lot.
re-released maps yet, but
Hmm.
I think they said it's gonna keep going. They're doing like a Fortnite type
Hmm.
layout where you have a season pass.
Oh, okay.
So if you want
Okay.
all the goodies, you pay a little bit per
Hmm.
season. But if you don't, it's completely free to play and you can earn some stuff. And
See, I
then
think that's a
that
good
funds them
business
to
model.
do maps. Yeah, because it keeps them going and they can afford to build new maps, new
Hmm.
armor sets, new, all
But to
that kind
release
of
with
cool stuff.
10,
It's
that's
not bad.
good, man. That's
Yeah, I
pretty. I
think
think
it's
that's
good.
pretty good for
Yeah,
multiplayer, especially. I mean, I don't know how expansive the maps are, or how expansive they need to be.
right.
Okay.
Well, so I could tell you it's 5 maps for regular play, which is I think 4v4 or 5v5. I
Mhm.
think it's 4v4. And then Big Team Battle has 5 maps. And those are the big scale maps where
Okay.
everyone's in vehicles and stuff. And I think that's like 8v8 or something like that.
See, that is actually that's enough people.
Yes.
Like
But
being a PC guy, where I've done 64 versus
yeah,
64, and
Battlefield can get out of
it can
control
get out of control. Like, you know how many
like
times I've
real
seen
quick.
someone like crash a plane into like 40 people, and they're like
Yep.
40 kills. I'm like, I guess, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it can be too much. And I played Halo a bit. Um, I feel like that, at least from what I remember of their maps, they're not close quarter. They're
Right.
not
Most of them aren't.
so like open ended though, where it's like, oh, I didn't know you guys were in a firefight. I was, over there, there, there. It's not that, you know what I'm saying?
No.
So
And if it is on the Big Team Battle, they keep dropping in. They call them ordinances or whatever. They're dropping in little quads and stuff, so you can jump on it and get your
that's cool.
team real quick again.
That's cool.
Speaking of which, it's kind of funny because as you progress through the match, like say it's capture the flag, or say it's like one where you have to grab these battery cells and load them into your base.
Mhm.
As you're progressing through that, they start dropping in bigger weapons and bigger vehicles for you to mess with. So they don't drop a tank in right from the beginning.
That's
It's
good.
at the very end, here comes a tank. But
Mhm.
the funny part is I'm sitting there on a Ghost, which is like a hovercraft motorcycle thing that guns,
Mhm.
and I'm taking out the sniper, right? I posted this on Twitter, so if you haven't seen it, follow us on there
Follow
at
it. I've
702
seen it.
Gaming and at the great I on Twitter. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was hilarious. I was dying laughing. I had to record that. I ran over a guy and I turned around and I was trying to take out this sniper that was doing really well. So I'm hitting the sniper, I'm hitting him, and all of a sudden this scorpion tank just smashes me. So apparently you have to watch out where you're at
Yeah, that
because they could
you
come
should you
flying in
should
on
do
you.
that. Yeah, you should do that.
It was pretty awesome.
Well,
It was pretty cool.
I think that is like the perfect amount of players,
Yeah, players in the game
and
and stuff. It
not
is.
just Battlefield, but and again, coming from the PC world, where they're like, the more the better, the more the better. Like there's a game, it's called Tribes.
Oh, I was trying to think of that game.
Uh,
I had that
Okay,
game.
I have Tribes too.
Yes.
I'm actually looking at the case right now, for the PC,
Right.
and I'm sure the servers are all shut down and all that stuff by now. But that is a game where it was so big, and you've got, everyone has their jetpacks, for you to
Yeah.
get around, or you can on foot if you can. But like I was lost
Yeah.
so much in there, and then I finally would see another person. I'm like, cool teammate. Oh no, he's not. I'm dead. Like I hated that.
It
I
was that
hated
type of
that.
game. At the time, it was mind blowing though
Yeah.
for me. But I mean, I just remember running around. There's like wrecked ships and stuff,
Hmm.
right? You're running along. I was trying to think of that game's name because I was just thinking
Tribes,
about it
man.
the other
Yeah.
day about how you
Yep.
just be running like you always felt like you're in a new area because the map was so big
Yeah, I
at the
always
time.
felt
It's
like
like,
I was
wow,
like, whoa, I bet no one else is here. And you know what? I was right
yeah,
all the time. I was
There was no
always
one.
right. There was never anyone there. And I'm like,
And back
all
then,
right.
there wasn't really like foliage or anything in the
No, it
maps. It
was a
was like
bunch of
very
it was a
barren.
bunch of rolling hills. All right. Like
Yeah, dude,
this is that's all it was. Like,
that's
oh
crazy.
gosh, I was
Good memory, man. Good memory.
yeah, I'm telling you, I'm looking at the box right now because as a
Yeah.
collector, I want to keep all my stuff. And the other day, I was reading some of the stuff in my original Diablo 2, where I'm like, man, I love this artwork, in these books.
Yeah.
And I pulled the box out. I'm like, what else is back there? Like, I have a game called it's called Bet on Soldier. It was just a weird like that was the era in PC where they're like, do you have a different idea? Well, we'll fund it, right?
Right.
This is one where like you literally bet on your like money that you earn. I bet that I will survive like this multiplayer map, and
Oh,
if you
wow.
yeah, and if you did, you got the other team's money. You could buy upgrades and stuff. It's a cool idea, right?
It
Cool
is a
idea.
cool idea.
Horrible game
Yeah.
though, but it was a cool idea. And yeah, I pulled. I'm like doing this now. I'm like, oh, Serious Sam, cool, got that.
Yep.
There's Serious Sam 2 and 3. Like, why am I going so crazy with those? And the original Max Payne and Max Payne
Yep.
2. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, Tribes. That's the game I got lost on all the time. I think that's when I stopped
Man.
hating open world. It's like, it can be
Yeah.
too open.
Yeah.
All right. The
Yep.
world can be too open. Let's not do that.
Can be empty. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
devoid. I want to talk about Halo's campaign because it is going open world.
Hmm.
But these last trailers they've shown have brought me a little bit of comfort. It it might be okay. I don't.
We talked about that before.
Yeah, we'll
Like,
see. I'm still a little hesitant,
okay.
but they're making me feel a little better. We'll talk about that because it's going to be out in just less what 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the 18th now.
So
So,
yeah,
um, nice, nice. I
yeah,
mean, I know Xbox guys are like, if you're an Xbox guy, you almost have to be a Halo guy,
yeah,
right? I remember the original Xbox. If you're an Xbox guy, you had to be a oh, what was that game called? It was like a fantasy game, Fable,
Fable.
right?
Oh,
It was like you got.
we're Fable household.
Okay, so you
There you
see what
go.
I'm saying, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If you're a
And so
Nintendo
the
guy, you had to be a Zelda guy, like that type of stuff.
right, yeah,
So,
you had to.
but no, it's
Well,
cool that it's having,
playground games that made the same kind of. I don't know if it's the exact same group, but that company that made Forza Horizon 5
Mhm.
and it's so beautiful is making the next Fable game.
Man, are they like,
Yeah, I'm so
come
excited.
on, how many times has Fable supposed to have been it's almost like the Duke Nukem
Yeah,
of fantasy games now,
yeah,
where like
yeah.
we're gonna be in our like
Like, are
60s
we gonna get
and
it?
you'll be like, ah, it finally released. I'm like, on what? Right? They just beam it into your eyes,
Yeah,
Everything will be in VR then. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, actually I have Fable over there for the PC. I forgot about that.
Good
So
man.
yeah, I got a couple things. But yeah, Fable has been one that it was almost like Alan Wake, where you kept
Yeah,
hearing that there was going to
yeah,
be a remake of it, and hey, hopefully it releases one
yeah,
day. I'll pick that up.
yeah. Cool.
I'll pick that up.
All right. Well, it's been a good talk. I think we're out of time. That was episode number 20.
Look at us.
Thank you guys for joining and listening and
Yeah.
watching.
Leave us comments, whatever you guys want to see. Definitely follow us on all the things. Anything that has an at
Yeah.
us, bro. You can
Yep.
add us. It's always any kind of interaction with the people that are watching is always it's always good. Even if it's negative, don't do that though. I'm not a negative person. Right?
Yeah, I'd be like, thanks. I go cry in the car.
No, I'd block
But
them. I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding. We're a no negativity zone. Let's have a good time.
yeah, yeah.
Have a
We're
good
on
time.
there to have fun.
Yeah.
So we will catch y'all later. We're out of here.
Out of here.